So we're Project 13, Automation of Classroom-Driven Technology Support. My name is Christian Emerson. This is Tremaine Cunningham. This is Sultan Alzabi, and this is Suchin Wei. I was responsible for hardware. Tremaine is responsible for software. Sultan was responsible for testing, and Suchin was responsible for the enclosure. The problem that our project is solving is that NCSU Office of Information Technology is responsible for 600 plus smart classrooms here at NC State, and they have issues being able to test all of their classrooms effectively. It's 10 to 15 minutes for a student to come in, hook up their laptop, and test all the audio and video. So our device is able to test audio and video at the flip of a switch. So the way that we implemented the design of this project is that we have a box that sits in the computer racks under the desk, and it's going to stay there until it's needed to test audio and video. The person testing the room comes in, hooks up HDMI, and flips a switch. So here is our box, switches that will test audio and video, just all labeled on here.
The hardest challenge that we faced through the overall project would have to be the software. Determining which operating system would be best for our design. We had a choice between Windows and Linux. The reason we chose Linux is because it has a lot more support. It's easier to install different programming modules like our Python code and our Arduino implementation. And some of the other requirements was the compatibility between the hardware and the software. Like for our Udo x86 board, there were little issues with communicating it through the IDE that we use with the embedded Arduino chip that's on the x86 board. And also getting our Arduino IDE code to communicate with our Python code was a little bit challenging as well.
What we learned about product development is to basically test the device early. We had one of the product requirements was to withstand a 5-foot drop. So the earlier case model, when we dropped the case, it couldn't survive the 5-foot drop. So we had to change our model to be able.
So as a design overview for our device, we're using a Udo board. This is a Udo x86. This is able to both use an Intel processor as well as an Arduino GPIO pins, so that you can interface with it via switches or any other GPIO. So we're using this as the brain of our device, and then we're using a PCB that we designed from scratch, and we use these switches to interface with those GPIO pins on the Arduino board. So the software itself is, we have Python scripts running. Those Python scripts are communicating serially with the GPIO pins off of the Arduino, and that's what tells you whether or not a switch is flipped. That'll also turn LEDs on saying that the specific switch is flipped, and all of that's mapped to specific audio and video testing files that are provided to us by OIT. And with those audio and video files, they then use that to test the monitors, they use them to test projectors, and they use them to test all the speakers, whether it be stereo or 5.1 surround speakers. So as a demo, let's come at it from the perspective of someone who is working for OIT. They're a student classroom tech, so they come in and they're going to test audio and video. So they're going to come over to the device, they're going to hook up HDMI, and then they're going to flip this switch. This switch will do both video and audio. This audio will be in surround sound. So this is just B-roll footage provided to us, and then it has the 5.1 surround so that it works both in the classrooms, the smart classrooms, as well as auditoriums like Hunt Auditorium, which has 5.1 surround built in. So when they're done, you just come over and you flip this switch. kills everything, good to go. If everything works correctly, there's no more left to do other than report back everything is good. If something is wrong, the supervisor can come in and they can run video and audio analysis, which just gives you just diagnostic video so that you can see if there's anything wrong with the projectors or the monitors.